Today, we're going to deconstruct a document that is, well, part political manifesto and part strategic roadmap. It's all about a radical transformation for the future of Bangladesh. So let's dive right in and explore this blueprint for what it calls a brand new era.
So, the source text we're digging into today is this book, The Architects of Tomorrow by Guru Delawar Hussain. You can see right away it presents itself as a blueprint for a national rebirth, with the huge goal of building what it calls an enlightened civilization. And they are not shy about how big this ambition is. Right there in the preface, it says Bangladesh is at a crossroads, one that demands nothing short of a fundamental reevaluation of its entire path forward. So what does that reevaluation actually look like?
Okay, so the book basically positions itself as a complete plan, a way to tackle what it sees as these really deep-rooted national problems, things like corruption, injustice, poverty, and inequality. It's not just a critique, it's laid out as a step-by-step action plan for a total national transformation.
And you can see this plan is looking both backwards and forwards at the same time. The dedication is for the martyrs of the 1971 Liberation War and the 2024 mass uprisings. But then it points directly to the future, to Generation Z, kind of positioning them as the ones who are meant to build this new vision.
So, where does a plan this huge even begin? Well, before getting into any specific policies on the economy or defense, the manifesto says the absolute first step, the very foundation, has to be national unity. But, the big question is, unite on what exactly?
And the document is very clear on this. It lays out 4 pillars, 4 non-negotiable points for this unity. It calls for an end to what it labels Indian hegemony and Awami fascism, while making national sovereignty and a just society the top priorities. The argument is that these are the core issues that have to be solved before anything else can happen.
All right, so once that foundation of unity is supposedly in place, the plan turns its attention outward. It proposes a really dramatic shift in how Bangladesh deals with the rest of the world. And we're not talking about small tweaks here. This is a total realignment of foreign policy.
The book paints a pretty stark contrast between how it sees things now versus the future it wants. It describes the current foreign policy as submissive, and it alleges that there are secret treaties out there threatening the country's sovereignty. The proposed alternative? A strict stance, demanding that every single one of those agreements be made public and then canceled.
Now, this new foreign policy isn't just about tearing things down, it's also about building new bridges. The plan suggests breathing new life into the South Asian Alliance, SAARC, but on new terms of respect and fairness. And at the same time, it wants to kickstart a major push for Bangladesh to become a member of ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations.
Then the manifesto gets into some hard numbers. It proposes a pretty serious economic threat, saying Bangladesh needs to be ready to shut down its $110 billion export trade with India if certain political demands aren't met.
And that economic threat is immediately followed by a demographic one. The plan also calls for the expulsion of what it claims are 500,000, that's 5 lakh, illegal Indian workers from the country.
So, an assertive foreign policy like that needs to be backed up by an equally assertive vision for national defense, right? Well, that's the next step. The core idea here is that to truly protect sovereignty, you need a military strategy that has zero constraints.
And this crest here, labeled DAFA-41, it's basically the visual for the plan's defense doctrine. You can see symbols for the Navy, the Air Force, even nuclear power, all circling a map of the nation. It's all under that banner of sovereignty and strategic defense. So, who would be in charge of this new military? The plan is really specific about this. It demands that the armed forces be led only by what it calls Pro-Bangladeshi officers. And when it comes to paying for all this, the manifesto makes one of its most extreme statements. It says flat out that the budget to protect national sovereignty will be, and I quote, limitless.
So what does a limitless budget get you? Well, it's aimed at some very advanced goals. The plan calls for opening talks to get a nuclear umbrella treaty with China and Pakistan, which would be a massive geopolitical shift, and also for buying advanced TNC fighter jets. Okay, so we've looked at the call for national unity, a super strict foreign policy, and this idea of a limitless defense strategy. But why? What's the endgame here? Where is all of this supposed to lead?
Well, the ultimate goal is just incredibly ambitious. The stated objective is to lift Bangladesh up to the level of highly developed, stable nations like Japan, Finland, and Singapore.
The idea is to transform it into a global power.
But in the end, everything we've talked about, the entire manifesto, it all boils down to this one core idea, that none of these policies, none of these plans can ever work without total, absolute national unity. We're talking 180 million people, all moving together with a single, unwavering purpose.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. This blueprint demands an unbelievable amount of change, and this perfect unity to make its vision a reality. Which really makes you wonder, what does it actually take for any person or any country to truly become an architect of its own tomorrow?